Good morning, class.
Good morning.
Now, I know you guys were saying you had trouble with last night's reading of chapter 18 because of Winn-Dixie. So today's lesson, we're going to annotate the text to find out the deeper meaning. Now, who remembers what the word annotate means? David?
To write little notes on the side as you read.
Destiny?
To highlight the stuff that sticks out to you.
Right, you're both right. Now write this down so you can remember for later. Annotate means to highlight or circle important phrases in the passage. And it also means to make little notes on the side. So for today's class, we're going to annotate the conversation between Opal and her father. Now, who wants to read the passage out loud? Destiny?
It's a litmus lozenge. The preacher unwrapped it and put it in his mouth, and after a minute, he started rubbing his nose and nodding his head. Do you like it? I asked him. It has a peculiar flavor. Root beer, I said. Something else. Strawberry? That too, but there's still something else. It's odd. I could see the preacher getting further and further away. He was hunching up his shoulders and lowering his chin and getting ready to pull his head inside his shell. It almost tastes a little melancholy, he said. Melancholy? What's that? Sad, said the preacher. He rubbed his nose some more. It makes me think of your mother.
Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to annotate the text together. Now, what words stuck out to you, or what words did you have trouble with? Rajon.
What did it mean by getting ready to pull his head inside his shell?
Perfect. So let's underline this sentence. This is an example of annotating. Now, Opal's comparing her father to an animal. Now, what animal, when it gets afraid or threatened, kind of closes in its shell? What animal? David.
A turtle?
Right. So we're going to write turtle on the side. This is an example of annotating, because we're making notes to ourselves about the text that we just read. Now, what else did you guys have trouble with? Destiny?
What does peculiar mean?
Peculiar. Let's circle it. And then on the side, we're going to make a note. Peculiar is another way to say odd. Again, this is an example of annotating the text, because we took this word that we didn't know, and then we had to use context clues to figure out what it meant. So, peculiar just means odd. Let's try to say it together. Peculiar.
Peculiar.
One more time. Peculiar. Perfect. What else? David.
What is melancholy?
That was a good try, but it's actually pronounced melancholy. Let's say it together.
Melancholy.
Perfect. One more time.
Melancholy.
Now, based on the context clues and what the preacher said, what do you guys think melancholy means? Rajon?
Sad.
Right. So we can circle the word sad because it reminds us of the word melancholy. Now, when the preacher was eating the lozenge, he said that it was sad. It reminded him of sadness. Why? Destiny.
He said it made him think of the mom.
Perfect. And then, do you guys remember what did Opal's mother do? I know it was a while back in the text, but what did she do? David.
She ran away.
Right. So what we want to do is we want to make note of that on the paper. So if you have any space, you just want to write ran away. So that way we remember this key phrase. So now that we've annotated the text, and we've made notes for ourselves, and we picked apart things that it makes sense to us, now we're going to have a party. How does that sound?
Woo! Party!
Now, who's ready to party literary style?
Woo!
Okay, P, pick out words and phrases. So do you remember when we first read the passage how we picked apart certain words that didn't make sense to us?
Yeah.
Okay, that's an example of P. Analyze. Analyze the text. Now, do you remember when we talked about Opal's father being like a turtle? That was an example of analyzing the text to draw that conclusion. Refer to surrounding text. Do you guys remember when one of you had trouble with the word melancholy?
Yeah.
And we had to look around the text to think about what it meant? We used context clues and we referred to the surrounding text to figure out that melancholy means sad. And then think back to what you read before. Remember how we had to think about Opal's mom and what happened to her? Because when he ate the lozenge, he felt sad. So we had to think about what happened to Opal's mom before. And why for you're done. So let's party, 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 party.